Start by saying you proved points that were saying about Honduras and the United Kingdom gun control and everything, but that has nothing to do with this debate because this is the Second Amendment of the United States. It has nothing to do with Honduras and the United Kingdom. And I'll start with my first point of my actual speech. How many children do you think have been shot and killed by guns since the Sandy Hook tragedy? Not 100, not 200, but 555 kids have been shot and killed since Sandy Hook, whether it's intentional or accidental. The number grows every other day with a child getting shot and killed every other day on average. How does that make you feel about gun control? These children are dying all across the U.S. and it doesn't need to be happening. We can prevent this. For teens, the number one cause of death by gun is homicide, which is ahead of suicide and unintentional death. Yes, you and I in the audience, along with so many other people, always give the most attention to mass shootings such as Sandy Hook, Columbine, and Aurora, Colorado theater shooting, when really they're just part of the main picture. For example, apart from the casualties on the day of Sandy Hook, 90 other people were murdered that day. Which brings me to my second point. In case you didn't know, on December 14th, 2012, Adam Lanza, who I might add had struggled with anxiety, obsessive compulsive disorder, and they found out after his death, anorexia, shot and killed his mother with a Savage Mark II F bolt-action rifle, which is a military-grade weapon. And after he shot his mother, he drove to an elementary school in Newtown, Connecticut, where he shot and killed 27 people, including 20 children, elementary age. This changed the way people have looked towards gun control in our country, because this was the deadliest elementary school shooting in history. The weapon used at the school was a Bushmaster XM15 E2S rifle, which is also another military-grade weapon in the hands of a mentally ill suspect. The point is, these are very high-powered weapons to land in the wrong hands. Although these weapons were his mother's, they were not locked up or protected at all. These background checks are constitutional, and no, background checks do not impair honest citizens. Stricter gun control laws may have been introduced to combat the high rates of homicide that you've been saying in these other countries.
Okay, well, first thing that I want to bring up is you were talking about how mentally ill people should not be able to have these weapons. And if that's the case, then right there, that's invading the Second Amendment, because it says all people have the right to bear arms. And if you can't have a gun because you're mentally ill, then that's just straight up like violating the amendment. So that's what I want to say about that. And then the first thing I want to talk about is that gun control laws such as background checks invade your privacy. It gives the government your name, address, mental health history, and criminal records. This is an issue because everyone doesn't want the government and random people to know where you live and other personal information, because you can feel unsafe when a random person has that information. Secondly, gun control laws can make crime even worse. If the government makes it hard for you to own guns, then the criminals will take advantage of that. If someone wants to hurt someone, they will do whatever they have to in order to make it happen. So if they are still going to find a way to hurt you, like no matter what, then they're gonna like find a firearm some way, somehow. But if the government makes it hard for the daily person, like average person, to have a gun, then when these criminals are gonna take advantage of that, because they know you don't have anything to protect yourself with, so they're gonna take advantage of that and like hurt you then, because if you don't have a gun to protect yourself with, then it makes it a lot easier for them. Yes.
Well, would you rather have somebody that you probably won't know have a little less privacy when they're trying to get a gun, or would you rather have more safety? So if you have deeper background checks, and let's say you're not the one getting the gun, would you rather have that person have a little less privacy and you have a little more security, knowing that he might not get as dangerous as a gun to use?
Well, it doesn't matter, because even if they find out what is like private information, then you still have the right to bear arms, because that's what the amendment says. Like, it doesn't matter what history you have and stuff.
So are you implying that even criminals should be allowed to
Yeah,
purchase
you're not allowed to
guns?
talk.
Yes.
Is that not
I don't know
a
what
security
you said.
risk? Do you want criminals to be able to purchase military grade guns?
A gun's a gun. That brings up my third. That brings up my third point. Okay. Gun control laws like Undetectable Firearms Act that try to ban assault weapons like machine guns and those military grade weapons interfere with sport and hunting. The Second Amendment says you have the right to bear arms. It's not saying you have the right to bear certain arms, it's saying the right to bear arms. So you cannot tell somebody what types of guns they can and can't have because a gun is a gun. And yeah,
Okay,
that's it.
thank you. All right, that's our second round.